welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host. My guest this evening is Cynthia Clegg from the Community Foundation of Middlesex County. Cynthia, welcome.
Thank you. So
How
good
are
to be
you?
here. I'm fine, thanks.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
So tell me a little bit about who is Cynthia Clegg and what is Community Foundation Middlesex County?
Well, let me focus on the Community Foundation of Middlesex County because that's what I am.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. The Community Foundation is now 18 years old, which in the life cycle of a community foundation means that we're very young.
Okay.
We're basically one of the newer community foundations in Connecticut, and we've been around serving Middlesex County for 18 years.
Wow.
We're very excited about that. And over the past several years, we've grown exponentially so that we're now at $12.3 million in our pooled funds. So we're really excited. And what that means to me, what excites me, is that it just means that every year we can invest in the community with more and more dollars and more resources.
And I guess my next question for you is, who do you give your money to, and how do they get the funds from your organization?
You know, it's really tough to give away money, believe it or not. It really is, and it takes, this sounds really crazy, but it takes a whole, we do things throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So there are so many different kinds of funds that our donors set up that we are able to give away throughout the year. But the big portion of our grant making and giving back to the community comes at the end of the year through our competitive grant cycle. Okay. And we reach out to the nonprofits, let them know that we have a pool of money that they can compete for, if you will. Sure. And we cover so many focus areas: the environment, education, human services. We have an animal welfare fund. So we cover just about everything. And the nonprofits will send in their applications, and I have a dedicated committee of grants people who sit and read and spend hours really evaluating whether or not they can give money to the applicants.
Reading grants, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, you know what, it is, because
really?
We're literacy volunteers, which you're very familiar with, I know.
Man, never heard of the organization.
I know, and you do a great job as a board of director member.
Thank you.
But they apply every year, and they do such a great job, and we're really proud at the end of the grant cycle to say, you know what, we're teaching people to read, and we're teaching people to learn English as a second language. That's what makes the day go by fast.
Exactly. And I guess how do you, now is there a grant, once you go into an application for money from your organization, is there a waiting period? Or can you apply every year, or is there a...
That's a really good question, and it makes it's tough for us because there are so many worthy organizations.
Sure.
So a few years ago, we instituted a 3-year on, 1 year off. Okay. So if you get a grant 3 years consecutively,
we ask
that you take a year off, so it gives other nonprofits an opportunity to fit into the cycle.
Okay. Now, how many of there are you up at the organization?
Oh my gosh, right now we are a team of 3, and we're in the process of hiring a communications coordinator, so we'll be a team of 4.
I was going to say, a team of 3, and all this work you guys do? Obviously you like it.
We've got high energy, we work really hard, we're never bored. We really believe in the mission of the Community Foundation, which is to help our friends and neighbors and to improve the quality of life for everybody. So when you have something like that you're doing every day, working hard is really easy.
Exactly. Now, how did it all start 18 years ago?
You know what, that's a really great question, and I have to tell you that the founders are still engaged with the Community Foundation. Basically, there was Middletown 2000, a plan for that, and a group of people both from down county and up county, never the twain should meet usually, but had this idea that the thing that was missing in our county was a community foundation. Every other region had one. Okay. So they pooled their resources and they started it. And I have to tell you, we're unique as a community foundation because we didn't start with a huge bequest.
Okay.
Aunt Bessie didn't leave us a whole lot of money.
No.
We started as a grassroots effort. So to
Okay.
think that we've grown to 12.3 million is really a reflection on those founders and all of the dedicated board of director members that have helped it grow.
Now, good question. Who is on the board of directors for the organization?
We have, please don't take this the wrong way,
No,
but
no.
we have the best
Yes, you do.
board of directors.
Yes, you do.
in
And
the
I've actually
county.
seen the list of the board of directors, and I know a couple of them.
And we really work very hard at getting board members.
Uh-huh.
So it's a good cross-section of the community, both from a gender and an ethnicity standpoint, from the geography. But we have Eric Thornburg, who's the president of Connecticut Water, David Director, who is Connecticut Lighting,
Sure.
and Vin Capice, the president of the hospital. We have people from Clinton, Sue Sawchuk, who is a retired teacher and started out on our grants committee. We have John Biddiscombe. I'm going to leave someone out, so
That's
I'm going to feel
okay.
terrible. But he is a retired athletic director from Wesleyan. So as I said, a good cross-section of folks.
Now, how about some examples of investments in the community through grants?
I thought you'd never ask.
I had to.
I know you did. Well, I really get excited when I talk about this because we are, and thank you for saying investments. We consider ourselves an investment
Right.
firm
Right.
and a consulting firm. So our investments through grants, if you look at the Valley Shore Y, we've taught first graders to swim a lot.
Okay.
There's a very special program for the first graders in Westbrook. So when their funds dried up from a corporation, we stepped in, and so we continue to help support that.
All right.
Literacy volunteers.
Yes. Okay.
So you know that
Oh,
we've helped,
oh,
and
yeah.
we're very proud of that. Common Good Gardens in Old Saybrook, right behind Grace Episcopal Church. We helped them get their hands dirty and gave them the just the basics, the fencing and all the things that really need to go into that.
For their community garden.
For their community garden,
Right.
which they distribute the fresh produce
Oh, yeah.
to the soup kitchens. And do you know that community, Common Goods Gardens, has produced in 1 year 20,000 pounds of fresh produce?
Are you kidding me?
That's a lot.
Are you kidding me? Oh, my
And then there's
goodness.
also a community garden in Clinton, so we've invested in that.
Which one?
Yeah, I knew you'd ask, and I can't remember the name, and they're going to be very mad. But it's
All right, we'll
our
leave it at-
Community Cares, I think, is the name.
All
of it.
right.
But those are the kinds of things that we will do. Health and Human Services, as you know, is very important. So we've invested with the Westbrook Family Youth and
Yep.
Family Service
Sure.
Bureau, and they did a multi-generational program with the kids in the schools and the senior centers. So things like that, where bringing a community together is again very important to us.
And now before I forget, if people want more information on the organization, where should they go?
Middlesex County C as in community, F as in foundation.org is
Okay.
our website.
Yeah.
And they can always call us at 860-347-0025.
Now, as far as the website goes, what types of information can they find on the website?
We have over 154, actually 162 funds, so they can find out information about the very different types of funds we have. They can find out if they have a passion for something, such as the arts. They can set up their own fund, so there'll be information about that.
Okay.
There's a little community calendar where we allow the nonprofits to put their event up so they can see what's going on. They'll learn about our board of directors. They'll learn about the initiatives that we have in place. So there's an awful lot of information there.
It does sound like a very worthwhile website to go to if people want more information on the organization. Now, do you accept donations from
We love
the public?
We love donations.
All right.
That means that we can just do
More
even
money.
more in the. No, it's just it makes us so happy to think that we'd be able to do even more.
Now, I know we're going to talk about this during the second segment, but we've got a little bit of time during the first segment.
Okay.
This poster behind me, what is it?
Well, we have done over the past couple of years several big initiatives, which I'm really pleased at.
Okay.
The one we started in 2009 started out as the No Bully Zone, and we have a group of small business leaders who got together, started a fund, and said, we want to help the kids that will be our future employees. They decided to get drafted a No Bully Zone program that can be a train the trainer program for the schools. So that started in 2009.
Okay.
We've been in the Middletown schools, the Haddam, Killingworth schools, soon to go into the East Hampton schools, and we've worked with a number of things. And last year, we launched a huge campaign called the Bully Free Communities Campaign.
Okay.
And this is our pledge. We are trying to get everyone to sign the pledge. You can see that High Hopes students signed that pledge in October. Donnie Marshall, the former NBA player, is our spokesperson.
Wow.
So we've got a whole group of people. We held a rally last October, brought in 150 students from across the county.
Wow.
And had just lots of great activities. But the thought is we want to teach people to be upstanders, not bystanders when someone is being bullied or picked on or whatever.
Exactly. And the pledge is basically for, is there a time limit on it? Or?
And anytime anyone allows us to, if they sign the pledge, we put their name on the website so that people can see that everyone from volunteers to students to presidents of companies to Donnie Marshall that has signed that pledge, and they're really committed to be an upstander, not a bystander.
Now let's talk about total investments in the communities of Middlesex County since the Community Foundation started.
Since we started, well, I have to tell you, last year we sort of, if you didn't hear us screaming with joy, I'm really surprised at the end of the year last year, because last year we realized that throughout the year we had given away a record 657,000, don't hold me to the exact number, but 657,000 to give back to the community was huge for us.
I didn't hear you screaming with joy.
Well, we were. So over the years, since 1997, we've given away more than $4 million through over 1,100 grants back into the community.
Wow.
So that makes us very happy.
Exactly. And obviously we're in the middle of the fiscal year right now of this year. How we looking? How we doing?
We're doing very well. We've started 5 new funds already. 5 families have come to us and said, I want my dollars to go to work in the community, so they set up their funds, and each one is as different as the different family that came in to set it.
Really?
And we're doing very nicely in terms of dollars from our wonderful donors in this area.
Very nice. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
I would love to. Thank you. Aren't you nice?
Thank you. We will be right back after a short break.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, sitting here with Cynthia Clegg from Community Foundation, Middlesex County. Cynthia, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we were talking a little bit about in the first segment about the bullying campaign. For those of our viewers and listeners who are just joining us, let's open this segment with the bullying campaign.
Well, I'm very excited about the bullying campaign. It started in 2009, and as we mentioned before, it was a group of small business owners who got together and decided they wanted to help the students who would become their future employees.
Sure.
So we have a program that is a Train the Trainer program, and we bring it into the schools. We also have a segment where we can train the bus drivers, because they're the front line, and so we can give them helpful hints. And we partner with Rushford on this, because they're the specialist and we're not. The other thing that we've done is we've brought together groups of families, so the parents, students of the first tee, so entire families come together for one segment and then we break out into sessions. So mom and dad can hear how to help their students if they encounter bullying, especially cyberbullying.
Right.
And then the kids can be broken up into age-appropriate groups so they can have activities so that they can learn. Again, I use the term upstanders, so that they can learn how to stick up for themselves and stick up for their friends.
Okay.
So we're excited, and we try to bring the message in as many ways as possible. So we've partnered with Iverton Playhouse, and there is a play called The Bully that will be shown for an entire week. 1,300 students from across the county will be seeing that.
Wow.
And we have packages for the teachers, things about the Connecticut state law, helpful hints, what to do in the classroom after the play. So those are the kinds of activities that we're doing. And our attitude is we all need to have positive behavior, no matter whether you're an adult or a child. So if we can help, we will.
Now, were there any topics we didn't talk about during the first segment you wanted to maybe pick up on the second segment?
Right. As you probably know, and you know us well, we do not do programs, we invest in programs.
Right.
And so one of the things that the Community Foundation can do, because we know so much that's going on in the community, we can sort of bring people together, and hopefully so that they won't duplicate efforts.
Right.
And we've been part of a coalition of nonprofits that are working on making mental illness and mental wellness and bringing an awareness to the communities about this, so that there's no duplication of efforts. Everybody is partnering. Any nonprofit that is involved in that kind of thing and helping people would come together. And in May of this year, on May 26th actually, we'll be doing the third of a community forums, and we've entitled all of this Compassionate Communities. And you know we live in a wonderful area.
Yeah, definitely.
But sometimes things like mental illness, people are afraid to talk about it, afraid to seek help. So we think by bringing everybody together and making everyone aware that there are resources to help, that we can even have a more compassionate county.
And as far as let's just touch on the general overview of the organization, and for everybody if somebody's just joining us for exactly what you guys do.
The Community Foundation's mission is to invest in the community through our donors' dollars to improve the quality of life for everyone. The one thing that we do stand for first is for our donors. Our donors look at us as a resource, so they can come to us and say, I love the arts. Or I don't know where to put my money, but I want to give back. So we can sit with them and craft an individual fund for them, and then forever and a day, that fund will be giving back to the community as a whole.
Now, do you guys work with the Middlesex County United Way?
We absolutely do. We're funding partners. We also work with Liberty Bank Foundation. The partnering really is very important to us, because it's not about who's doing what or who's getting credit. It's about the people that we're serving.
About the community.
Well, let's think about this. We're really here to serve the students or those in need. So we really partner very well.
And as far as, and you and I talked about this during the first segment, but again, let's touch on it again. You guys were jumping for joy last year. Why?
Well, last year was really a banner year for us in terms of the amount of dollars that we gave away, and it was well over $670,000. I hope I said that. And you don't know what that means because you are on the board of a nonprofit. And we are so well aware of how a little bit of money goes a long way with our nonprofits.
Right.
They are wonderful about serving their clients with just a little bit of money.
Exactly.
So to the extent that we can even do more, that's why I want to grow the Community Foundation.
Exactly. And from what I hear by doing my research and what a little birdie told me the other day, there's also a car show in the fall.
We have so many wonderful funds and fund holders, and many times funds are managed or worked with on committees. And I know you know this committee well, but we have a fund that is dedicated to giving grants to at-risk young men and boys. And they, to raise money in September, will be having a car show.
Okay.
They're so excited. They've got Wayne Carini, who's from Portland and who is well known in the car world as the guru. So he's excited about being a special guest. And it will be September 26th at the Chester Fairground.
Very nice.
Lots of music, lots of wonderful cars on display, lots of activities. And of course, the proceeds will go to the fund.
Right.
And then the grants will be given out to help at-risk young men and boys.
Now, do you guys only focus on Middlesex County nonprofits, correct?
We do.
Okay.
However, if a nonprofit is headquartered out of Middlesex County, but they do work in Middlesex County, of course, we will examine that. And then some of our donors who have very special causes that they care about, if they have a donor-advised fund and come to us and say, I know this community where I grew up needs money, then we will work with the donor and make sure that their wishes get fulfilled.
Now, as far as the grant process, how's that work? You basically fill out the paperwork and do all that fun stuff.
We have worked hard because we know the nonprofits don't have a lot of staff. Just like us, there are very few people doing all the work. So we've streamlined the process. We've eliminated one major step, so it's now one step. We start in June and we give information sessions, and then it goes live on our website in July or early August, and it's due in mid-September.
Okay.
And then from September to December, that's when all the hard work begins by our volunteers.
And what does that hard work entail, besides reading grants and?
It is hours of meetings, so there are various stages of the reading, and then we will sit and meet, and they'll have many, many questions, and then staff will bring them up to date on any of their questions. And it's a very good discussion about where the needs are in the community, and where should we be investing those dollars.
Exactly. And now, once the grant process is done and you got a pile of grant applications, yee-hi, how do you figure out who gets money?
There is, the grants committee has a scoring process.
Okay.
And so it's done very objectively. And so they will fill out the scoring process. We see all the scores, and then when we come together for our meetings, we'll present the scoring. And no one knows how anyone else has scored the grants.
Really?
And staff does not get involved. We do all the backroom. We do not make the decisions. We're there for guidance.
The grant committee makes all the decisions and decide.
And so it's your neighbors deciding on who gets the grants.
Exactly. Now, is there let's say there was a grant that came in, and is there a waiting period in between trying to refile?
Every dollar that goes out in grants must be approved by our board of directors.
Okay.
So in December, the grants that they are recommending goes before the board.
Okay.
And then they are voted on at the December board meeting. We send out notices, and then the checks, they will tell us when they need the checks. So the checks start to go out in January.
Now, within my viewing and listening area, what are some of the organizations that you've given money to?
Essex Historical Society, Middletown Public Schools, I forget how broad your audience is now, Pete. It's just great. I should have been prepared with the Middletown. But the Middlesex Historical Society, which is up in Middletown, the Valley Shore Y, I've mentioned, the Middlesex Y, of course. We've actually helped the Middlesex United Way fund a staff person to help with the Coalition Against Homelessness.
Okay.
So those are the kinds of things that we will do. Cattails, since we have a fund that's dedicated for the welfare of animals, so cattails and Shoreline Soup Kitchen, Amazing Grace up in Middletown, the East Hampton shelter. So we cover just about everything.
You forgot one.
What? Oh, literacy volunteers, did I not
Thank
say
you.
that? I am so sorry. How could I forget that? Very important work that you do.
I was going to say, if not me, John Ferraro will call you tomorrow.
I know, but really, we have to say thank you for you
Not a problem.
for volunteering.
Not
for
a
that.
problem. I have to let you know before we say goodnight, but it is a lot of fun being on the board of directors of that specific nonprofit. I've learned a lot over the last bunch of years, and I've met a lot of great people, including yourself and Kevin from the United Way, who
Right.
Kevin and I still keep in touch, and it's just a lot of fun getting out there, meeting a bunch of people that
Well, if you
care as
think
much
of-
as we do.
If you think about your board and multiply that by all the other nonprofits in the county and the volunteers that do that hard work, and then if you think of the other funders and the hard work that their staffs do,
Right.
we're pretty lucky to live here and,
Exactly.
and to be surrounded by such great people. I'm always astounded that people do realize that $1 a day goes a long way.
It does.
And by pooling all those resources, we can make it go even further.
In the little time we have left, how about you tell us a little bit about how the organization got started 18 years ago?
18 years ago, a group of dedicated people came together and said, you know what, there isn't a community foundation in Middlesex County, we're going to start one. And it was a grassroots effort, no big, huge bequest, and it was a little bit here, a little bit there, and most of the founders are still involved with us, so we're very, very fortunate. And as I said, we've grown, and I think they're very proud of what's happened.
And before we say goodnight, we got about 15 seconds or left. If you want more information on the CFMC, where should they go?
Middlesex County CF.org, or please call us 860-347-0025.
Cynthia Clegg from Community Foundation Middlesex County, thanks for coming down tonight. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. On behalf of Cynthia, I'm Peter. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.